Ms. Brzezinski, what are you reading?
Oh, I'm reading this great nonfiction book about penguins. I'm learning so
We're reading fantasy. Stupefied.
Ah!
Sorry. Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to our next lesson in our fantasy unit, Learning Alongside the Main Character. Today we are going to talk about how in fantasy books, oftentimes the main character begins without a lot of knowledge about where they are or what they're doing, and they have a steep learning curve. When the main character is told important information, the reader should take that as a clue to stop, sit up, and listen to learn right alongside with that character. We are going to watch a video clip from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and see how Lucy learns about her new land. Ms. Brzezinski, where's that port key? We need to go to Narnia.
Oh, I've got it right here. Here we go. Ready?
Now, fifth graders, we are going to watch a clip from Harry Potter.
You all right, Harry? Seem very quiet.
He killed my parents, didn't he? The one who gave me this. You know, Hagrid. I know you do.
First, and understand this, Harry, because it's very important. Not all wizards are good. Some of them go bad. A few years ago, there was one wizard that went as bad as you can go, and his name was...
Or maybe she wrote it down.
No, I can't spell it. All right. Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Shh. It was dark times, Harry, dark times. Voldemort started to gather some followers. Brought him over to the dark side. Anyone that stood up to him ended up dead. Your parents fought against him. But nobody lived once he decided to kill him. Nobody. Not one. Except you. ordinary cut on your forehead, Harry. A mark like that only comes from being touched by a curse, and an evil curse at that.
What happened? Tina.
Well, some say he died. God's well up in my opinion. Nope. I reckon he's out there still. Too tired to carry on. But one thing's absolutely certain. Something about you stumped him that night. That's why you're famous. That's why everybody knows your name. You're the boy who lived.
Aloha Mora! Welcome back, fifth graders! So oftentimes in fantasy stories, the main characters are not only on an adventure quest, but they're also on a journey. They're going to new places, they're learning new things. When the main character is learning new things, it's also your job to pay attention to what they're learning. So in those clips we just watched, Lucy in Narnia she stepped into the wardrobe, she's looking around this new place that she's in, she realizes she's not where she was in the house playing hide and seek with her brothers and sister. She's looking around and noticing it's snowing, and she's wondering where she is. Then when we switch over to Harry Potter, Harry, before...
So Harry, we knew that Hagrid.
Hagrid, before Hagrid came to get Harry, Harry didn't know anything about magic or that he was a wizard. And in that clip, we're learning about Harry's past as Hagrid is also teaching Harry. So we are learning at the same time as the main character.
Okay, boys and girls, now what we're going to do is we're going to practice finding what we call signpost moments, or places in a story or in your book club books is our ultimate goal for you to be able to find these. We're going to practice finding signpost moments, or moments when the character learns something that's integral to their quest or to their journey. And we're going to start doing that in The Thief of Always. What I'd like for us to do is we're going to listen to chapter 4. Assuming if you get to this part in this lesson and you did not do the read aloud, listen to the read aloud for 2 and 3, pause right here, open up a new browser, and listen to me read chapters 2 and 3. Then come back if you need to. But if you've listened to 2 and 3, we're going to listen to chapter 4, and I am going to model finding some of those signpost moments. This is truly something that we would do together if you were here, but there's 2 people in this room right now, so it is what it is. All right, guys, so if you remember at the end of chapter 3, well, in chapter 3, Harvey has met some of the other kids living in the house. He's also met the cook, Mrs. Griffin. They've got some funny named cats, and she takes Harvey to his room after he's eaten, and he is lulled into that cool pillow and goes to sleep, even though he doesn't like to sleep during the daytime. This is chapter 4. What I would like you to be doing as we listen to this, I'm going to do the same thing. Just jot down, or just jot in your head, what are some moments when you feel like Harvey's learning things about the house and learning things about his journey?
Chapter 4, A Death Between Seasons. The sun came to wake him soon after dawn. A straight white dart of light laid on his lids. He sat up with a start, wondering for a moment what bed this was, what room, what house. Then his memories of the previous day returned, and he realized that he'd slept through from late afternoon to early morning. The rest had strengthened him. He felt energetic, and with a whoop of pleasure, he jumped out of bed and got dressed. The house was more welcoming than ever today. The flowers Mrs. Griffin had set on every table and sill singing with color. The front door stood open, and sliding down the gleaming banisters, Harvey raced out onto the porch to inspect the morning. A surprise awaited him. The trees, which had been heavy with leaves the previous afternoon, had shed their canopies. There were new, tiny buds on every branch and twig, as though this were the first day of spring. Another day, another dollar, said Wendell, ambling around the corner of the house. What does that mean? Said Harvey. It's what my father used to say all the time. Another day, another dollar. He's a banker, my dad. Wendell Hamilton II. And me, I'm Wendell Hamilton III. How'd you know? Lucky guess. I'm Harvey. Yeah, I know. Do you like tree houses? I never had one. Wendell pointed up at the tallest tree. There was a platform perched up among the branches with a rudimentary house built upon it. I've been working up there for weeks, said Wendell, but I can't get it finished alone. You want to help me? Sure, but I've got to eat something first. Go eat. I'll be around. Harvey headed back inside and found Mrs. Griffin setting out a breakfast fit for a prince. There was milk spilt on the floor, and a cat with a tail hooked like a question mark lapping it up. Clue-Clat, she said. Yes, indeed, Mrs. Griffin said fondly. He's the wicked one. Clue-Cat looked up, as if he knew he was being talked about. Then he jumped up onto the table and searched among the plates of pancakes and waffles for something more to eat. Can he do whatever he liked? Harvey said, watching the cat sniff at this and that. I mean, does nobody control him? Ah, well, we all have somebody watching over us, don't we? Mrs. Griffin replied. Whether we like it or not. Now eat. You've got some wonderful times ahead of you. Harvey didn't need a second invitation. He dug into his second meal at the holiday house with even more appetite than he had the first, and then headed out to meet the day. Oh, what a day it was! The breeze was warm and smelled of the green scent of growing things. The perfect sky was full of swooping birds. He sauntered through the grass, his hands in his pockets like the lord of all. He surveyed, calling, to Wendell as he approached the trees. Can I come up? If you've got a head for heights, Wendell dared him. The ladder creaked as he climbed, but he made the platform without missing a step. Wendell was impressed. Not bad for a new boy, he said. We had 2 kids here, couldn't even get halfway up. Where'd they go? Back home, I suppose. Kids come and go, you know. Harvey peered out through the branches, upon which every bud was bursting. You can't see much, can you? He said. I mean, there's no sign of a town at all. Who cares? Said Wendell. It's just gray out there anyway. And it's sunny here, Harvey said, staring down at the wall of misty stones that divided the grounds of the house from the outside world. How's that possible? Wendell's answer was the same again. Who cares? He said. I know I don't. Now, are we going to start building or what? They spent the next 2 hours working on the treehouse, descending a dozen times to dig through the timbers heaped beside the orchard, looking for boards to finish their repairs. By noon, they'd not only found enough wood to fix the roof, but they had each found a friend. Harvey liked Wendell's bad jokes, and that "who cares," which found its way into every other sentence. And Wendell seemed just as happy to have Harvey's company. You're the first kid who's been real fun, he said. What about Lulu? What about her? Isn't she any fun? She was okay when I first arrived, Wendell admitted. I mean, she's been here months, so she kind of showed me the place. But she's gotten weird the last few days. I see her sometimes wandering around like she's sleepwalking, with a blank expression on her face. She's probably going crazy, Harvey said. Her brain's turning to mush. Do you know about that stuff? Wendell wanted to know, his face lighting up with ghoulish delight. Sure I do, Harvey lied. My dad's a surgeon. Wendell was most impressed by this, and for the next few minutes listened in gaping envy as Harvey told him about all the operations he'd seen. Skulls sawn open and legs sawn off, feet sewn on where hands used to be, and a man with a boil on his behind that grew into a talking head. You swear, said Wendell. I swear, said Harvey. That's so cool. All this talk brought on a fierce hunger, and at Wendell's suggestion, they climbed down the ladder and wandered into the house to eat. What do you want to do this afternoon? He asked Harvey as they sat down at the table. It's going to be real hot. Always is. Is there anywhere we can swim? Wendell frowned. Well, yes, he said doubtfully. There's a lake around the other side of the house, but you won't much like it. Why not? The water's so deep you can't even see the bottom. Are there any fish? Oh, sure. Maybe we could catch some. Mrs. Griffin could cook 'em for us. At this, Mrs. Griffin, who was at the stove piling up a plate with onion rings, gave a little shout and dropped the plate. She turned to Harvey, her face ashen. You don't want to do that, she said. Why not? Harvey replied. I thought I could do whatever I wanted. Well, yes, of course you can, she told him. But I wouldn't want you to get sick. The fish are poisonous, you see. Oh, said Harvey. Well, maybe we won't eat 'em after all. Look at this mess, Mrs. Griffin said, fussing to cover her confusion. I need a new apron. She hurried away to fetch one, leaving Harvey and Wendell to exchange puzzled looks. Now I really have to see those fish, Harvey said. As he spoke, the ever-inquisitive Blue Cat jumped up onto the counter beside the stove. And before either of the boys could move to stop him, he had his paws up on the lip of one of the pans. Hey, get down, Harvey told him. The cat didn't care to take orders. He hoisted himself up onto the rim of the pan to sniff at its contents, his tail flicking back and forth. The next moment, disaster. The tail danced too close to one of the burners and burst into flames. Blue Cat yowled and tipped over the pan he was perched upon. A wave of boiling water washed him off the top of the stove, and he flew to the ground in a smoking heap. Whether drowned, scalded, or incinerated, the end was the same. He hit the floor, dead. The din brought Mrs. Griffin hurrying back. I think I'm going to go eat outside, Wendell said as the old woman appeared at the door. He snatched up a couple hot dogs and was gone. Oh, my Lord! Mrs. Griffin cried when she set eyes on the dead cat. Oh, you foolish thing! It was an accident, Harvey said, sickened by what had happened. He was up on the stove. Foolish thing, foolish thing. Was all Mrs. Griffin seemed able to say. She sank down onto her knees and stared at the sad little sack of burned fur. No more questions for you, she finally murmured. The sight of Mrs. Griffin's unhappiness made Harvey's eyes sting, but he hated to have anyone see him cry. So he fought back his tears as best he could and said, Shall I help you bury him? In his gruffest voice. Mrs. Griffin looked around. That's very sweet of you, she said softly, but there's no need. You go out and play. I don't want to leave you on your own, Harvey said. Oh, look at you, child, Mrs. Griffin said. You've got tears on your cheeks. Harvey blushed and wiped them away with the back of his hand. Don't be ashamed to weep, Mrs. Griffin said. It's a wonderful thing. I wish I could still shed a tear or two. You're sad, Harvey said. I can see that. What I feel is not quite sadness, Mrs. Griffin replied, and it's not much solace either. I'm afraid. What's solace? Harvey asked. It's something soothing, Mrs. Griffin said, getting to her feet. Something that heals the pain in your heart. And you don't have any of that? No, I don't, said Mrs. Griffin. She reached out and touched Harvey's cheek. Except maybe in those tears of yours, they comfort me. She sighed as she traced their tracks with her fingers. Your tears are sweet, child, and so are you. Now you go out into the light and enjoy yourself. There's sun on the step, and it won't be there forever. Believe me. Are you sure? I'm sure. I'll see you later then, Harvey said, and headed out into the afternoon. Chapter 4, A Death Between Seasons.
Hello, Hamora! It's so fun being in Fantasyland, isn't it? All right, boys and girls. So, as the main character is on a journey, like Harvey is on a journey, eventually he's going to learn something about himself or learn about a deeper life lesson. And as a good reader of fantasy, you collect clues along the way with the main character. Now, just by, rule of thumb, just some basic examples. Signpost moments can be direct questions and answers, like when Harry Potter was having that question and answer session with Hagrid, or like when Harvey and Wendell are having their question and answer session, or when Miss Griffin is telling Harvey certain things. She's sprinkled in there a good bit. It can also be explanations or stories. Listen up and dig more deeply during those times, okay? And finally, like when Lucy had an unfamiliar experience can be another signpost in a fantasy text. So for example, just to take it back visually, when Lucy was playing hide and seek in the wardrobe and she fell backward and she felt that cold snow, that's all of a sudden she's like, whoa, I feel fur all around me in this closet, but now I'm having this unfamiliar experience of falling into a different world. That lets me know as a reader, I need to take note about the world around. As Lucy learns the world around her, you as a reader need to learn about the world around her. So just to model, this is kind of where, if you were here, I'd ask you what signpost moments you noticed, but I'm just going to go through a couple basic ones that I noticed. If I can get my book, hold on. So I marked one where Harvey is talking to Mrs. Griffin, who we obviously know that but the way she's described as a reader who's paying attention, I know that she has probably been in that house a very, very long time, because the author took great care in explaining what she looks like. She looked older than his grandparents, which were the oldest people that Harvey has ever met. So when Harvey and Mrs. Griffin are talking before he eats, when he first comes into the house, and it talks about how every door is carved differently and how beautiful everything is, Harvey says, "It's perfect," Harvey murmured to himself. But Miss Griffin caught his words. She didn't just notice, she caught his words. "Nothing's perfect," she replied. "Well, why not?" "Because time passes," she went on, staring down at the flowers that she'd cut. "And the beetle and the worm find their way into everything sooner or later." Well, hearing this, Harvey wondered what grief it was that Miss Griffin had known or seen to make her so mournful. So I just had highlighted this part, that section, because that lets me know that the beauty of the house, as a reader, I'm just thinking this, maybe masking something evil, maybe trying to trick him into coming in. And Miss Griffin, he's saying, "It's perfect." And Miss Griffin saying, "Nothing's perfect." And the reference to the worm and the beetle, that makes me think about the fact that, you know, when you bury someone in the ground, when time passes, your life is, I don't know. I'm just collecting clues. I'm collecting the author's breadcrumbs as I go. Another signpost moment that stuck out for me is it was nice and warm when he got there, almost like a summer day. The grass was growing, all the flowers were open and full. But that's not the season it was outside the wall. Outside the wall, it was winter. He walked into nice, wonderful orchard, apple summer. And as a reader, I'm collecting the clue. It talks about how he slept all night long. He woke up and it was almost like the first day of spring, where there are buds on the plants, like flowers are about to sprout, and it was cool and crisp like a spring day. I'm starting to collect clues as a reader in this, that the thief of always might have something to do with time, possibly, and there's some kick to the seasons. So I just want to pay a lot of attention to the seasons as the day goes on. Is it spring all day? And just kind of just collect those little pieces. Notice everything, okay? Now, in your book club books, you're going to be doing exactly this. You are going to read the next chapters that are assigned in your Google Doc. It will start to be different for some of you. Some of your chapters are longer, some of your chapters are shorter. So check your book club Google Doc page, and you are going to be jotting some of those signpost moments. And guys, don't worry about what the doc kind of turns into looking like. Like yesterday, everybody wrote about, what did they write about yesterday? I'm blanking. Everybody wrote about the setting and what kind of setting they think it is. So we know in this book, it starts out as an ordinary setting and is shifting into more of a magical setting. I know that by just collecting clues. But so you're just on day 2 under the prompt, just throw in, 5 or 6, let's keep it simple here. 5 or 6 signpost clues, and kind of what are you thinking as you come across those things, okay? So that is for your book club. If you go to your homework packet, what I just explained is right here on, let me see if I can hold this. I know it's backwards in here, guys, but look, it says session 2 homework. This is what it talks about. My prompt on your Google Doc will just simplify the wording a little bit to make it easier. Once you've done this and done your assignment for your book club, don't forget to check Newsela for the next article that has been assigned to you. Please make sure you're annotating and taking the quiz. And even as your at-home schedule is you're going to kind of adjust over the next couple of days, you might find that you want to do your book club stuff and come back later and do a Newsela. I almost said Nutella. Don't make a Nutella sandwich. A Newsela article. And then you might want to wait a while before you then do your 30 minutes of independent reading. This is where it falls into how accountable are you being with your learning, and as you put your day together, be aware of what works for you, because all of these things, the book club, the Newsela article, and the independent read are all very important things, and I don't want you to feel like you will just want to power through to get to Fortnite as fast as possible, okay? Trust me, I'm metering my own kids on this. You need to meter yourself. So, my friends, I hope you're having a wonderful time on your virtual learning journey. We miss you, and we hope to see you soon, and happy reading.